Good morning, friends. It's Tracy and Violet from Tea Time with Tracy and Violet. It's not actually tea that I'm having. It's coffee because it's like 5:15 in the morning. Almost 5:30 actually. I got up just before 5 o'clock, went for a walk with Violet, got some chicken in the microwave defrosting for supper tonight, and I'm having my coffee because it's necessary for me to function this morning. But I got up bright and early and yeah, feeling good. Not bright, but it's early, so we're good. But since I'm having my coffee, I thought I'd talk to you about a book that I read. I've read it before, but I'm rereading a series. Now, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I have a soft spot for paranormal romance. I'm still kind of on a horror kick, dark romance kick, but I have a really big soft spot for paranormal romance. That's where I really branched into adult reading years ago. And one of my absolute favorite authors is Kresley. And she has an Immortal After Dark series. She has other books too, which I've read every single one of them. But her Immortal After Dark, so IAD series, it's like a paranormal romance series, and it's one of my favorites. Like, total comfort read, really. It's kind of dark. It's a whole lot sexy. And it's paranormal. Delicious. But she's having a new book out January 25th, a new one in the series, and a new book hasn't been out for a couple of years at least. Maybe longer. I'll put it on the screen how long it's been, but it's a highly anticipated in my book, and I'm sure many others, but you might not know who I'm talking about. So I wanted to reread her series. I have all her series in paperback. Some of them are hardcover. All of them in ebook, and some of them in audiobook. Like, I've listened to them multiple times, read them multiple times, everything. The only one I don't have a copy of physically is the first book, and that's the one I want to talk to you about. I do have an ebook of it, though. It's a novella, and people that don't know jumping into this series, you don't have to read these books in order. You don't. I never started out reading it in order, but then I figured out it's a series, so I read the whole thing. The first book, novella, that's in this series is called The Warlord Wants Forever, and I forget how many books are in the series. I think there's like 18 or 19. Maybe 16 or 17. I don't know. There's a bunch. But they're full-length novels except for this one. This one is around 200 pages or something like that. Or like swipes or 180. I don't know. Something like that. But this book is about Mist the Coveted, who is a Valkyrie, and Nikolai Roth, who is a vampire. Not a born vampire, but like a forebearer. And when I say that, he was a human that was turned into a vampire a couple hundred years ago. Mist, on the other hand, is a couple thousand years old. And she's a Valkyrie, so a warrior. But she's the most beautiful Valkyrie. And if you don't know what a Valkyrie is, because I didn't know what it was years ago. I know now because I love the series, but a Valkyrie is a warrior lady who, on her deathbed in a battle of some sort, some great battle, is on her deathbed in a bloody field or wherever it might be, all over the world. Two gods, Fury and I forget now. Two gods came together and created a Valkyrie of these the most brave, fierce women in history. Hence the Valkyrie. And they don't need to eat anything. they live off electricity and lightning. So they're immortal. Immortal after dark, right? So anyways, Mist was being held at this vampire stronghold. Ivo the Cruel. Yeah, Ivo, I believe, yes. There's a few bad guys in this series, and you learn about them all, but it was, she was being held prisoner at this vampire stronghold, and I don't mean the forebearer vampires, I mean actual evil, red-eyed, vicious vampires. Nikolai, he's one of 4 brothers, and they all do have books. He's a different kind of a vampire. Like I said, he's a forebearer. He was made. His leader is Christoph. This might sound confusing, but you'll get it if you ever read all this. Christoph is an actual vampire, but he's the leader of the forebearers. He's the one that created all of these forebearers. But the forebearers' mission or goal is not to fight everybody else in the lore, because in this series there's Lycan, there's Valkyrie, there's witches, there's goblins, there's ghosts and phantoms, there's wraiths, there's a whole bunch of different things, but evil vampires don't like anybody except other evil creatures, and Valkyrie are not evil. Forebearers are not evil, but they're not trusted because they're vampires. But this is the branch into that world. And, okay, Tracey, get to the story. Mist is being held in a bad vampire fortress. The Forebearers' army was taking over this fortress. And lo and behold, somebody is held in a dungeon, and Nikolai finds Mist, the coveted, in a dungeon in this deep, dark fortress. So that's where they first meet. I don't want to say too much about the story. So Nikolai is kind of infatuated with her, but the thing about vampires, they don't have a beating heart. They don't get all stirred up and wily sexually unless they meet their fated mate. And for a vampire to know that they met their fated mate is if their heart starts beating. So, yeah. So you can see where this is going. Nikolai and his brothers and Christoph and the whole army take over this fortress. There's a friggin' fly in my house, Violet. Get it for me, would ya? You vicious beast. Yeah. Nikolai's heart doesn't start beating right away. But Mist is moved to better accommodations. And the thing about Kresley Cole, how she writes stories, there's a bit of humor in it. I love how she portrays all the female characters. Like, they just are smart ass and funny and fierce. And, it just adds a really comforting read to me. When you hear people talk about, cozy books, I find every single one of her books a cozy book. Doesn't, it's just, I don't know. It is. So, skipping over a whole bunch of stuff, Mist seems to activate Nikolai's heartbeat. And Valkyrie don't believe in fated mates, so when Nikolai's heart starts beating, he gets all riley. That's what you do. When your heart starts beating, all your juices flow, so, bing! You know what I'm saying? And she doesn't believe in fated mates, like Valkyrie don't. That's not how they do. And the two, Nikolai and Mist, both have a super hard attraction. I have a sneeze coming. Oh, psych me out. For goodness sakes, the microwave stopped. Just a minute. Oh, I just put another package in to defrost. Anyways, there's tension between these two. Nikolai is one handsome son of a gun. And although he's a couple hundred years old, the forebears in general, don't know a whole lot about the lore and other creatures as, say, a 2,000-year-old Valkyrie or other creatures that have been around a lot longer. So they're hoping to get, like, Nikolai and his boss, Christoph and stuff, are trying to pump information from Mist while she's there, because she's a great resource if they can get her to talk. But you can't get her to talk. You can't get her to talk. No. So he ends up taking her down to a dungeon and said, Mist, you got to tell me something. Otherwise I'm going to have to start torturing you. And he's straight up ready to do this. He doesn't want to do this because his heart is beating, that's when it starts beating, when he gets really close to her. It says this on the back anyway, so, or not on the back, on the thing. Synopsis: when his heart starts beating, she's in the dungeon, tied up, ready to be tortured. And he's one horny bugger, and they kiss, and she feels something too, and she feels like, oh my god, am I just gonna let this guy do this? But she wants to, but then she's like, I can't do this. That's when her sisters in arms, other Valkyries, come to rescue her, because they are fierce. I love them, every one of them. They come, and they come with such humor, like they joke while they do it. Oh, look at him. He's all stirred up for you, Mist, or something like that. And there's Regan. There's, anyways, there's a bunch of different ones. You'll get to know them if you read all the books. They come and rescue her. So Katerina the Cold, she has her own book too, but she is an archery, archist? No, that's not right, but she walks around with a bow and arrow, and she never misses. Like, never, ever misses. If for some reason she misses, she feels extreme pain. So she never misses. So she ends up nailing Nikolai to the wall with these arrows. Of course, he's immortal, so that's not going to kill him. And they snatch Mist, and he's just, imagine this big, fierce vampire nailed to the wall with these bow and arrows. Standing at attention, if you know what I'm saying. And these beautiful, and Valkyrie are not big, they're little dainty little things, but vicious. They're vicious, joking around, and yeah, he's not going to be able to simmer down sexually until he actually does what his body wants him to do. So fast forward 5 years later. 5 years, he's in the state of constant horniness. It sounds corny, but it's true. And he can't get satisfaction from anybody but his fated mate. That's how it works. So there's more to the story. It's not a great big, you can kind of piece it together, but 5 years later, they finally catch up with Mist. And Nikolai, he's in such a state. He scoured the globe for her. Because once a vampire finds their fated mate, they want to do everything. That's his mate. He wants to protect her, provide for her, shelter her, covet her, that sort of thing. So he finally catches up to her, and she's, their home base is in New Orleans. I should have said Nikolai and his brothers are Russian, and that's where the stronghold was, in Russia. But Mist and her coven, or whatever you call it, is in New Orleans, and you can hear them screeching. Their house is like in a bayou, and oh, it's just, I can see the whole thing. If I was in New Orleans, I'd go looking for Val Hall. But anyways, when she sees Roth, she is kind of joking around, but she's really nervous because obviously he's here for her and her only. And she goes to run, and he snatches a necklace or a bracelet off of her. It's just a dainty little bracelet, but she's been in charge. She was in charge of that. Anybody that holds possession of that can control Mist. Tell her to sit down, she'll sit down. Like, she can't help but do exactly what this person says who holds this bracelet. So as she runs, he grabs the bracelet. He doesn't know this. That's what it is. And the bracelet snaps, and he's left holding it in his hand. And she stops immediately because she's like, oh crap, he has my thing. She doesn't want anybody else to have it because she always feels like somebody's going to control her. And now the person in the world that she would not want to have it has it. He soon figures out, I got the upper hand now, and can tell her to do anything. Anything. You know what I'm saying? And it goes from there. I don't want to say a whole lot. This isn't a super long book, but I'm so excited for Monroe to come out January 25th. My nose is itchy. I'm sorry. I keep touching my nose. I'm so excited for that book to come out. I wanted to reread the whole series. Now, I don't know if I'll get a chance to read them all before that comes out, but I hadn't read that one for years. The next book, A Hunger Like No Other, I believe is the next book I've read. That's one of my favorites. I'm squeezing that one in. Again, I've already read it once or twice this year, really. I can read that lickety-split because I feel like I know every word in it, but anyways, I just wanted to kick off my Kresley Cole videos. I have videos on horror books and dirty books and twisted, sick, crazy books too. But I'm going to have a little paranormal Kresley Cole videos coming up. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but I will put a link to that book down below. It's probably available on Kindle Limited. I have my ebook on Kobo. I used to read books on Kobo before. Don't have a Kobo anymore, but I can log on to the app and read it there, and that's what I did. But anyways, A Warlord Wants Forever, and it's really worth the read. It's really short. If you want some steamy, funny, yeah, that kind of a story, I highly recommend it. And I'm going to do other videos on the other books that I do read before that new book comes out. Again, not everybody's taste, but I just want it because it makes me feel good to talk about them, because I don't know, I walk around that world every once in a while, and it just feels like home sometimes. So anyways, I'm going to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose. But if not, that's okay too. I still love you. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, all right, guys. Well, yeah, I'm going to finish my coffee. I still have kids to get up after, but I'm going to get supper going here early in the morning because, you know, it's good to tackle things head on, and that way I can kick back and relax later on. So, yeah, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning, and I might see you tomorrow. Bye. Bloop.